Dear learners, today I'm going to deal the unit 3, the muscles and effect of exercise on muscular system under the program BSc Exercise Physiology and Nutrition. So I'm Professor Grace Helena working in Tamil Nadu Physical Education and Sports University. The learning objectives to identify the three types of muscle tissue, to compare and contrast the functions of each muscle tissue type, and to explain how muscle tissue can enable motion, and to explain about muscle fiber, and at last I am going to explain the effect of exercise on muscular system. Coming to the muscle. So you should understand what is muscle. Muscle is a soft tissue found in almost all animals. Tissue is characterized by properties that allow movement. The muscle make up about 40 to 50 percentage of our body weight. Coming to the functions of the muscle. The muscles helps in movements. It maintains the posture and muscle tone. It also produces heat and it protects the bones and internal organs. The types of muscles. We have three types of muscles, namely voluntary muscle, involuntary muscle, and cardiac muscle. The voluntary muscle is also known as skeletal muscle, striated muscle, or striped muscle. The involuntary muscle is otherwise known as smooth muscle or non-striated muscle. The cardiac muscle is also said to be the heart muscle. Coming to the structure and function of the heart, three types of muscles. See, if you could see this picture, there are two pictures here. One is taken from the book. Another one is I have drawn for your better understanding. The first muscle is skeletal muscle. Since it is attached to the skeleton or bones, it is said to be the skeletal muscle. This muscle has got striated muscle fiber. That is why it is said to be the striated muscles. And it works voluntarily. It won't work on it works according to the willpower. Suppose I wanted to take the chalk paste. I wanted to switch on. So my muscle movement is occurring because the brain says that to take the chalk paste, to take the pen, and so on and so forth. So this is a voluntary actions. So the voluntary muscles does voluntary actions. So the voluntary muscle has got muscle fibers and it has got a covering called sarcomere, and it has also have the nucleus. And coming to the smooth muscles, it is said to be the involuntary muscle. It does also have the muscle fibers, but the fibers are smooth in nature. So that is why it is said to be the smooth muscles. It has got our outer covering called sarcomere filled with sarcolemma, and it has nucleus in it. The cardiac muscle is a specialized muscle. It is a heart muscle, red in color. It has got an automatic rhythmic contraction, lub dub. And it looks like a voluntary muscle and it acts like an involuntary muscle. So when we see, it looks like a voluntary muscle because it has got striations, stripes of muscle fibers, and also it has got sarcomere and nucleus, but it is branched. But it works like a smooth muscle, involuntary in action. It won't function based on the brain message. It works on it. It works automatically. That is why it has got an automatic rhythmic contraction. And this is the cross-sectional structure of the skeletal muscle. Again, here I have brought two pictures. One is taken from the book, another one which I have drawn it for your better understanding. The skeletal muscles, it is attached to the bone. So when we cut the muscle and when we see the cross section of it, we could find these many parts in it. The outer covering of the skeletal muscle is known as epimysium. The inner covering is perimysium, and the innermost covering is called endomysium. The endomysium is filled with sarcolemma. In between the endomysium and the perimysium, the muscle bundles are present. The muscle bundles are also named as fasciculus. So, this is the cross-sectional structure of the skeletal muscle. The next slide is microscopic structure of the skeletal muscle fiber. When the muscle fiber is kept under the electron microscope, we could see this kind of picture. So again, for your better understanding, I have drawn it separately and shown it here. This muscle fiber has got two types of bands in it. One is dark band, another one is light band. The dark band is also known as myosin, and the light band is known as actin. The light band, at the middle of the light band, there is a vertical line passes, that is said to be the Z line. And at the center of the myosin, that is dark band, there is a place called H zone. And in between one Z line and the other Z line, the portion is called sarcomere. So these muscle fiber where you can see under electron microscope these many structures. Coming to the sarcoplasmic reticulum. The sarcoplasmic reticulum is also present in the muscle, and here also I have drawn separately for you to understand thoroughly about the sarcoplasmic reticulum. The sarcoplasmic reticulum plays a vital role during the release of calcium from the system for muscular contraction. So, how the sarcoplasmic reticulum? It has got two T tubules, namely the transverse tubules. So, at the side of the transverse tubules, there are so many longitudinal tubules. The longitudinal tubules and the transverse tubules meet at the center, forms triad. So at the side of the triad, there are two terminal cisternae are present. So in this terminal cisternae only, the calcium is present. So whenever the message is received from the brain, it passes through the T tubule and it goes to the triad and it to the terminal cisternae to release the calcium. Thereby, with the help of calcium, the muscular contraction taking place. Now coming to the biochemical properties of the muscle fiber. So as I told you earlier, the muscle fiber has got two filaments, namely the thick and thin filaments. The actin and myosin filament, these two filaments are protein filaments. So the actin again has got two more proteins, namely troponin and tropomyosin. The myosin has got cross bridges, and the cross bridges again as L-meromycin and H-heromycin. These are all the biochemical properties which are necessary and plays a vital role during the muscular contraction. Now coming to the effect of exercise on muscular system. When we do the systematic strength training exercises or the resistance training, we can develop these many aspects, namely hyperplasia, hypertrophy, availability of metabolites to the muscles, oxygen supply to the muscles, muscle tone, posture, better safety mechanism, and body coordination. As I told you earlier, a regular systematic strength training program causes a number of anatomical and physiological changes in our body, namely the hyperplasia. What is hyperplasia? Splitting up of muscle fiber is named as hyperplasia. This hyperplasia is not occurring in our body, but it is genetically determined. But it is believed that heavy resistance training actually causes the muscle fiber to split. But all the individuals are born with a genetic makeup of specific number of muscle fiber. As you all know that we have a red muscle fiber and the white muscle fiber. The percentage of muscle fibers are predetermined, genetically determined when we are in the womb of the mother. Now, second point is hypertrophy. Hypertrophy means increase in the size of the muscle due to increased vascularization. What is vascularization? Increase in the blood circulation to the muscle. So, when the blood circulation is increased, when we do exercise, this blood circulation is increased. So, automatically the size of the muscle is also increased. So, it becomes bulkier. It is said to be the hypertrophy. The regular systematic strength training exercises, when we give to the male and female, the same amount of exercises are given, but the degree of muscular hypertrophy varies between men and women, because the men having the natural tendency of increasing the muscle mass, that is masculine in nature. So the muscle size is bulkier than the women. Now coming to the availability of metabolites to the muscle. Once the blood circulation is increased, that means the vascularization is increased, automatically the nutrients supply is also increased to the muscle, so that the availability of metabolites are also increased to meet the energy expenditure. The next point is better safety mechanism. See, the muscle spindles and Golgi tendons are present in the muscle. These muscle spindles and Golgi tendons are helping properly to prevent the injury. So, we need to tune the muscle spindles and Golgi tendons when we do strength training exercises. These two safety mechanical apparatus are tuned properly in order to prevent injury and to give continuous feedback to the brain about its length and tension generated in the muscles. The muscle tone. All individuals should have muscle tone, where when we do the chronic strength training exercises, it helps to maintain the normal muscle tone to facilitate the muscle to be in a state of readiness at all time. So our muscle tone, when it is increased, automatically we are ready to do any kind of work. The next one is oxygen supply to the muscle. At rest, for 1 kilogram of muscle per minute, the oxygen supply is 3.5 ml of oxygen. That is said to be 1 met. Let me explain again. 1 met means for 1 kilogram of muscle for a minute, the oxygen supply is 3.5 ml. So this is said to be a met. Due to regular exercise, the well-trained individuals are extracting more amount of oxygen per kilogram of muscle. That means 60 to 70 ml of oxygen per kilogram of muscle, which is almost 20 times more than the normal resting value. So, the supply of oxygen to the working tissue is more, thereby, we can work for a longer period of time. Posture. We need to work on the postural muscles. What are all the postural muscles? The soleus, gluteal, and back muscles are said to be the postural muscles. So, the chronic strength training or resistant training exercises will improve the postural muscles, namely the soleus, gluteal, and back muscles. These muscles helps to maintain our proper posture. So, the quick, powerful, graceful movements are developed with improved efficiency in walking, jumping, and running. So, as far as in sporting field is concerned, everyone is involving either in walking or jumping or running. So, these movements, efficient movements, are possible because of the efficient postural muscle developed. And the last point is body coordination. The chronic exercise integrates the nervous system with the muscular system. So every muscle which innervates the nerve fiber. So the nervous system and the muscular system coordinates together, integrates together for the proper coordination. Thereby, we develop coordinated movement in our body. So the body coordination is also taking place because of the proper resistance training or strength training program. Thank you very much for your wonderful listening, and I hope that you have understood what is muscle and the types of muscle in our body and what are all the structure and functions of the muscle, and also you have understood the muscle fiber, the sarcotubular system, how the calcium is released from the sarcotubular system for muscular contraction, and the biochemical properties of the muscle fiber, and at last the effect of exercise on various, that means the effect of exercise on the muscular system to develop the various aspects in the muscular system. Thereby one can keep the muscular system proper so that we can work for a better proper coordinated movement in the body. Thank you very much for your listening. Thank you once again.